I'm Noreen and welcome to my kitchen and another kitchen basic. Today I'm going to be sharing with you how I make my homemade cream of celery soup. Many of you know I do not prefer using soup out of a can, and the way to alleviate that problem is to make it yourself. And I'm going to share it with you now. Let's go see how we make cream of celery soup. We're going to go over all of the ingredients for our cream of celery soup. I'm going to be using this in a recipe later for dinner. I'm going to be using the equivalent of what I consider to be 2 cans of cream of celery soup, but with the water added to it. So it would be how you would use it if you were going to cook with it. So what we have here is 2 cups of chicken stock, 1 cup of heavy cream, 1 cup of water. We have 1/4 cup of butter, 1/4 cup of all-purpose flour, and then we have 2 cups of celery, and I've just sliced that up right off of the stalk and left the leaves in because that's good flavor. I have 1 cup of chopped onion and 1 tablespoon of minced garlic, and so that's about 3 to 4 cloves. You can use as much or as little as you like. For seasoning, we're going to be using 1/2 teaspoon each salt, pepper, celery seed, and I'm going to use a couple of grates of nutmeg when this all comes together. So we're going to meet you over at the stove. Alright, I've melted my butter in my saucepan, and I'm just going to go ahead and add all of our vegetables. Our onion, our celery, and our garlic. They're all going to go in the pan. And we're going to saute these for just a minute or 2. I forgot to mention. I have 2 tablespoons of butter in the bottom of my pan. We're just going to want to turn the vegetables in there and get them going so that they start to release some of their liquid. So I'm going to do that, and I'll be back in just a moment. All right, we've given this just a few minutes, I'd say maybe 5, and you want the vegetables to become a little bit soft. We're not going to cook them all the way right now because we're going to add the liquid in a minute. But while we have the hot, sizzling butter in here, we're going to go ahead and add all of our seasoning now. Because that way, the pepper especially and the celery seed, you want them to bloom a little bit in that hot fat. And then, all you want to do is, be careful, and add your liquid. Your stock, your water, and give it a stir. And now we're going to bring this to a simmer, and we're going to allow this to cook for 5 more minutes, and then we'll come back and we'll show you what happens next. All right, our celery and chicken stock and onions and everything else is simmering away. The celery has gotten softer, and now we showed you how to make this beurre meunier, and we're going to use this to thicken this soup. So I'm going to take about half of it. But I'm just going to break it off of the spoon here in little sections. And then I'm going to use my whisk. And I'm going to whisk it in until it gets nice and thick. Now, like I said, what this is going to help do is going to help thicken everything, but it's going to prevent any lumps. This is kind of like a roux in reverse. A roux that you add at the end of this cooking process when you have a boiling liquid, and you can see it's already starting to look a little more opaque. So I'm just going to plop it all in here, and I'm going to whisk, whisk, whisk. But keep whisking because you don't want any lumps, and you want to make sure all of those little particles of beurre meunier get heated up, dissolved, and incorporated throughout your cream of celery soup. And this is going to make it really silky smooth. So now we're going to take our heavy cream, and we're going to stir it in. Now, if you want to make this smooth, you can hit this with your stick blender, or you can pop it into your regular blender and blend this until it's smooth. I'm going to be using this in a pressure cooker recipe, so I'm not going to bother to do that. But if you want to serve this, by all means, you can go right ahead, serve this, or you can make it smooth if you want to, so it's a little more easy to eat from a spoon if you're serving this to guests or what have you. I almost forgot, before we go over to the counter, you want to give your cream of celery soup a little sprinkling, and I'm talking about 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg, because anytime you make a cream soup, you always want to add nutmeg because it brightens it, it livens it up, and it adds a little citrus note because nutmeg has a very lemony flavor to it. So, it's not going to taste like a cookie. It's going to add something Okay, now we'll meet you back at the counter and I'll serve you a little bowl of this beautiful cream of celery soup. You have it, homemade cream of celery soup, and it smells amazing, and we're going to taste it because, you know, somebody has to do it, right? You ready, honey?
Yes, I am.
Rick adores celery. It's one of his favorite flavors. What do you think? Good?
I could eat that whole pot.
Oh, it's delicious. It's perfectly seasoned. You don't need to add anything else to it.
That's incredible.
It's way better than the stuff out of a can. Like I said, I'm going to be using this to make my supper tonight. And it would be the equivalent of if you put 2 cans of cream of celery in the pot with the water that it calls for.
Speaking of cans.
Oh, yeah. I know a lot of you are going to ask me this question because a lot of you asked me the same question on my homemade mushroom soup and on my homemade cream of chicken soup. No, this recipe is not appropriate for canning. If you please do your research, you will learn why. Dairy cannot be canned. I don't care what you've seen in other videos. I don't care what you've seen other people tell you or hear what other people tell you. Dairy is a huge no way Jose for canning. You're treading into dangerous territory if you attempt to use dairy products in your home canning. No, it does not make it safe if you use dried powdered milk to make the milk. No, it is not safe to can milk. No, it is not safe to can cheese. It is not safe to can butter, and it's not safe to use flour in your canned goods, period. This recipe has all 3. It has cream, it has butter, and it has flour. So this is a triple threat. No way, you cannot can it. So I'm not trying to sound ugly. I'm just trying to be firm, and since I like you to think of me as your Aunt Noreen, I'm that aunt that tells you like it is. And that is how it is. You can't can this soup. So I hope that clears it up for you because I know many of you are thinking that. And I hope many of you who already asked that question in the comment section have stuck around long enough to hear the answer. So I hope that you liked my video today for this cream of celery soup. I hope that you will consider giving me a thumbs up. And if you're not already, please hit the subscribe button so that you don't miss out on all the real food for real people, real easy recipes that we present every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday here in our kitchen and right here on our YouTube channel. I hope you give this cream of celery soup a try. I know that you're going to love it. And until next time, I'll see ya. And what this does is it coats all of those little granules of flour with butter. And when you go ahead and you can put pieces of this into whatever you want to thicken and just whisk it in there, and it's not going to lump on you.